By 2025, the world will produce 175 zettabytes of data, a value fueled by the increased demand for high-resolution videos and the growth of Internet of Things. This is almost 6 times more than in 2018. Between 2000 and 2015, the price of a single gigabyte of storage dropped like a rock, falling from more than $4 to less than 4 cents. That means you could have bought over 100 times more disk capacity for your money in 2015 than in 2000. But when will we be able to store 1 petabyte, so 1000 terabyte on a single disk? Seagate has set a course to deliver 48 terabyte disk drive 2023 using its heat-assisted magnetic recording technology, doubling areal density every 30 months, meaning 100 terabyte could be possible by 2025-26. If Moore's law is to be believed, 1 petabyte drive will be available in 9 to 12 years, but it will be enterprise SSD and take another 3 to 4 years to drop below $1,000. 12 terabyte drives were launched in 2017, 14 terabyte drives were launched in 2018. That's 16% increase in 1 year. Assuming this growth trend continues, 1 petabyte drives will launch in 2049. But the 1 petabyte drive would probably take the form of some kind of additively manufactured modular stockable SSD rather than spinning platters. The time from when 1 gigabyte drives were standard, 1995-ish, to when 1 terabyte drives were standard, 2015-ish, was about 20 years, so maybe we can expect another score to jump to the new order of magnitude. Storage space will get bigger and bigger, but it will never be unlimited. Hard drives are made up of platters, and you can only go so small until you hit the limit of physics. Same goes for SSDs. They are made up of memory chips, which work differently, but are still made up of things that cannot go smaller after a certain point. While it may be technically possible over the next 10 to 20 years, economically it's hard to sell. When a petabyte drive fails, you need to have an array of them for backup. And I/O speeds must be fast enough to make a petabyte drive viable. For example, the fastest SAS speed is about 1.5 GB per second. To drain a full petabyte drive at that speed would take more than a week. By contrast, the typical 8 TB archive drive would take an hour and a half. Current petabyte file systems are made up of RAID arrays of drives, where one drive failure simply means replacing that device and letting the volume heal itself of this small percentage failure. Currently, even the market for such a device would be very limited. Even if Google and NSA each bought 2,000 of them a year, that's peanuts. Google's search index is only somewhere around 100 petabyte, by the way. This would drive the cost up, way up. If you are not going to sell at least hundreds of thousands a year, much less the hundreds of millions that hard drive manufacturers sell now each year, you are going to have to sell them to the small market for a very high price to cover your R&D, manufacturing, ongoing support, etc. As far as consumers go, you and I don't have a petabyte of data to store, and we likely never will, at least not individually and in our lifetimes. And the grandkids will use far more shared data than own data, and people aren't buying as many personal drives to store their photos, music or movies. They just use cloud, where the maintenance and integrity of their data becomes someone else's problem and much more secure. Researchers at Microsoft were able to compress 75.6 terabyte of data into a piece of fused silica the size of a 2.5-inch hard drive. Microsoft's Project Silica was about developing the first ever storage technology in quartz glass using femtosecond lasers to build an entirely new storage system. This new technology opens up an exciting opportunity to challenge traditional data storage system design and to co-design the future hardware and software infrastructure of the cloud. DNA also have many advantages for storing digital data. The density of the data that DNA stores is impressive. A single gram can hold roughly a zettabyte. It's ultra compact and it can last hundreds of thousands of years if kept in cool, dry place. And as long as human societies are reading and writing DNA, they will be able to decode it. However, it costs $7,000 to synthesize the 2 megabytes of data in the files and another $2,000 to read it. As for speed, the writing speed of DNA storage methods may never be as fast as those of electronic methods. But that doesn't matter for long-term archival storage, because once the data is written, it will be stored for 20-30 years. So we need a technology change if we want to store so much data in such a small device. But even if technology will be feasible, most of us probably don't even need so much storage space at all. If you like the video, give it a like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so YouTube notifies you when I upload a new video. Thanks!